Gentle, rising, beautiful souls. We are recording. It is day 4? We've been present 4 days. The systems have been laid. They are inlaid. Welcome, beautiful souls, to the Quantum Awakening Summit, day 4. Today we dive into the energy of creation, the chakra system, the nervous system, and how they work together in symbiosis so we can create a quantum breakthrough. We're going to touch base on a little bit of everything. And then this afternoon we have beautiful Jen Lynn with neuroglamming branding. She's going to come in and share her touch on neuroglamming. She's going to share a touch on neuroplasticity and the energy in our body and how she creates quantum breakthroughs. She is beautiful and amazing. I've been working with her for many years, and I'm so excited to have her gloriousness in here with us today. We have a big day, don't we, Lady Drasman? We have a big day. We have some beautiful stuff to give away, and I really wanted to touch base on the VIP package because it is coming to we are coming to the end. We're coming to the end, and we would love for you, Lady Drasman, to touch base on that before we open space.
Thank you. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for being here live. Thank you for catching the replay. I have seen many views on the replays of the last few days, which is awesome. And we want to actually hear from you. Talk to us. We're just humaning with you, and we would love to hear from you and connect with more of you. So share with us what's coming up for you as we bring to you and hold this frequency in for all of us. What is transforming for you? What is still confusing the shit out of you? And you're like, help. We can't help you if you don't talk to us. We can't celebrate with you if you don't share with us. Whew. Last night felt thick in sleep space, and I know I'm not alone. So if last night was challenging for you, let's take a big deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Yes, we have a big day today. Of course, we're going to have dance breaks again. I personally have been enjoying them. My neurodivergent brain, who sometimes dips into the ADHD, okay, maybe more sometimes, I'm lying, has really appreciated being able to get up and move and get all the chickies out. Chickies, what does that mean? So we're going to have a new movement flow today and again another one tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, after we finish our big day, we're going to have a little 10-15 minute break, and then we're going to move into the VIP lounge. And what is happening in the VIP lounge? Well, you get to hang out with Lady Anika and I, and some of our speakers who will be joining us there for a group meet and greet, where you get to ask us personal questions beyond the topics. You get to ask us about our lives. You get to find out more about things that make us uncomfortable, perhaps. But more importantly, we get to have fun. Lady Anika has a couple of games for us that she's going to lead us through. I'm super excited. I love her playful energy. It definitely balances my very seriousness. We're going to have more dancing, and we're going to talk deeper about what is coming up in the VIP package. So just a little sneak preview of the VIP package. Okay, we are going to be with you for 22 full days. I'm not sure yet if we're starting at the end of December or the beginning of January. I invite you to join us so we can take a poll together. We can make a group decision on what feels aligned for all of us so that we can all honor the holy days, and we can also honor the commitment we are making to integrating our highest timeline. Over the last 3 days and over today and tomorrow, we have been awakening and activating and amplifying this highest timeline within our consciousness. And over the 22 days, Lady Anika and I are going to take you even deeper with the energy mastery techniques that have helped us personally on our journey, that we have been weaving together as sisters and companions in this timeline for the last couple of years, and how to maintain that, right? It's one thing to like receive something. It's another thing to actually hold it and maintain it without suffocating, right? There's a delicate balance. So we're going to talk deeper about what that time with us together is going to look like. And there's going to be some more gifts giveaways, and the VIP package also includes 3-month membership to Lady Anika's personal group and my membership to the Soul Salon, which does have online resources, and if you are in Eugene, Oregon, in-person goodies in there as well. There's also going to be a very powerful ceremony happening during that VIP part of our experience, and it's going to be, well, I guess you're going to have to come in and find out what that awesome, amazing ceremony is and what kind of codes we are integrating and amplifying upon during that day. So, is there anything else about the VIP that I missed?
I would like to really, really dive into what the memberships are going to look like.
Yes. Okay, go for it.
I know for my personal membership, we dive into personal access to my connection with you. I go bi-weekly and we connect and we do readings, oracles, which I've been doing for 25 years. We break through sessions, which is super beautiful, super powerful. I really enjoy that space. It's my space of exercising all of my spiritual gifts. Plus, we also get to do some healings and some energy techniques and different types of spell work that I feel guided to share with the beautiful members. We also get to be in community with other people that are creating quantum changes, that are stepping into their roles as leaders and change makers. So it's a beautiful way to really get together with beautiful souls and to create that connection, and also learn powerful tools for mastery and energy healing and just be healing in general, and how to really create quantum change, not just for you, but for everybody in your field. It's very, very beautiful. That's in the membership, and it's super exciting to bring that forward because I get to bring all of my stuff into one place. And what that means is I'm not going to be doing all the readings in my Facebook and my YouTube. I will do some very guided stuffs, but it's mostly going to be in the memberships for the beautiful souls that are doing the work, that are wanting to really amplify their lives. So yes, beautiful nuggets and seeds of change that we get to bring forward, and we get to grow and activate and alchemize together, which is, we rise together. It's so beautiful. Lady Dresman, I'd love to hear more about your amazing membership and what it is you do.
Yes, thank you, Lady Anika. I love that you mentioned the shift from sharing general group, quote unquote, free readings to being more inclusive. And this is something that Lady Anika and I have really been working on through the year, is shifting that energy into restoring the sacred. You know, we are masters in our own right, and we have been doing this for many, many years. It's something myself I can only speak of. I have been an energy master through many different incarnations in this human timeline. And there is a power in creating inclusion. There's a power in showing up, not just for yourself, but also in reverence to us and to the higher spirits, your ancestors, your higher guides, who are really here to witness you and empower you and love you and encourage you and just show up for you. You know, they're showing up for you, and so they're asking you to do the same. And that means that we create these inclusive containers because we respect the higher wisdoms, and we truly want to protect you while you're in this tender space of your evolution, because we have gone through this and we know what it feels like to be in that vulnerable space and also feel the outside pressing in on your vulnerability. I mean, if you think about it, if you're this little light in a dark space, guess what happens when you turn on a light in a dark room? All the insects and buggies are going to come in, and we are that protection, so that all those insects and buggies don't come and surround your light while you're growing and learning how to anchor that within yourself. And so my membership, I will be sharing weekly cosmic news, what's going on in the quantum and how that's showing up in our daily life. I also bring a very small mini tarot reading, not as deep dive as Lady Anika does, just very general. And I bring something different. You know, she's bringing in the soul work. I'm bringing in creative nourishment. I share weekly poetry to the my subscribers. There's 3 spoken word pieces that I do, and I'm going to be adding some more things over the next few months. And if you are in the Eugene, Oregon area, you get 10% off to all my Soul Salon events. I host monthly sound circles, monthly women's temple. There's monthly men's circles that happen here. There is regular cacao ceremonies and sensual dances. There's regular plant ally guided medicine journeys. There's fire rituals. There's lots of things happening in the Eugene, Oregon area. And I have lots of connections for you through the Soul Salon, because I also host leaders, teachers, and healers in the community here in this sacred temple space that I'm honored to steward. And there are other prizes. I give away regular prizes to my memberships. That's actually starting next year. This is my first time announcing it. So, for showing up, I'm going to be having a winner every single month for those who are in my membership, and you're going to win one-on-one time with me. And my prices will be going up here in the next 2 months. So now is the time to really get in here and learn more about my offerings, really lock in those lifetime passes at a very reasonable low rate, because I really want you here. And my time of freebie giving is definitely coming to a close, because like Lady Anika says, this is our time to step into our highest excellence, and our highest excellence is honoring our time and energy, because our work goes more than here one-on-one. We are also supporting in the unseen worlds.
I love that. It's so beautiful. You have such a way with words and bringing everything in together. It's just so beautiful. I like how you said the buggies that could be blocking us. I know beautiful Lady Jasmine brought it up, how we feel today. And last night there was some interesting energy that came through, and we both felt it. We came on this morning or this rising, and we're like, what is that? And we both expressed our feelings and what had happened in our own life. And I'd love for you to touch on that a little bit, since you mentioned that in the beautiful memberships, how we get to protect them and how we hold space for their highest and best good. How do they get interference with them bugs and all the blocks that come in, that they come in also sneakily, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, they come in the dog barking and because there's a raccoon, and the raccoon runs, and then the trash can spill over, and there's all this clutter motherfucker at like 2 a.m. and you're just trying to sleep, and you're like, what the fuck? And all of a sudden you start getting angry, and it seems like a random event, but it's this subtle shift that's creating a disruption in the frequency. And so part of mastery, hint, hint, here's a key, is learning how to be in that absolute presence where you are the tree. The tree, the core of the tree doesn't move in the wind. The branches may sway, but the core is always still and sturdy. And we perceive it's because it's strong and immovable, but that's not true. It's because it has spent years, lifetimes in mastery of how to stand in stillness. So even when the storms beat upon it, it stays.
Beautiful. And I'd also like to touch on that. Looks like I noticed it right away yesterday when my phone started bringing on some really negative or icky or dark things on the scrolling, on the reels, on different words, different connections. And I noticed that darkness was coming in. And when that happens, we are all frequency. And of course, this is a topic for energy. We are all frequency. We are connected to all frequency. And as we go through this healing process, we are raising our frequency out of the 3D conundrum. We'll call it conundrum. And the higher power, I don't want to say higher powers that be, interference. There's a lot of interference in frequency, and they have a way of using that to tap into our consciousness and keep us in a lower state of being, keep us in a state of crabbiness, stuck, scarcity, poverty, right? And it happens through little things like scrolling on your phone and you see something icky, or the kids come home crabby from school, or something happens, you get a flat tire, or something weird comes on the radio. Like, those are all frequencies that inlay or try and integrate into your frequency to shift it. So when it comes to energy, I really bring the seeds of change and the seeds of divinity to remember that we are frequency. We feel everything, whether we consciously know it or not. Everything has energy. Everything has frequency. The things we watch, the things on our phone, everything is frequency. So really be conscious of that, especially during this Yule time, because we're about to shift. The whole world shifts into a whole new season. It's the northern hemisphere, it's the southern hemisphere. We all shift into something new. This is our time to rise, and this is for every single one of us. You don't have to be an energy master. And as we go through this space, it's important to remember that those are distractions keeping you from your mastery, keeping you from your highest good, keeping you from your positivity, keeping you from your high level happy self. So just remember that when we're going through these shifts and this chaos and destruction and distractions during the Yule time, there's a reason they keep everything super stressful at this time of year. Tune into yourself, tune into your being, tune into your heart, tune into what you truly want, and become the steadiness in the storm like the beautiful tree. That's how we're really going to have this quantum jump after this Yule time. So that being said, go ahead, Lady Dresden.
Yeah, the last thing I want to just share in that is, just look at what solstice is, right? It is the longest night. Which means what? We have the most darkness, which means what? We might feel like we're being suffocated. Oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I can't see. I don't have that clarity. It's like that building pressure, right? And so just recognize that what was in pressure? Diamonds, my darling. And on day one, we got that card. All the diamonds in the sky, right? So recognize that this is just your birthing pressure, your rebirthing pressure time. Focus on the light. Focus on the light. As a beautiful speaker said yesterday, focus on your strengths. Focus on the light.
She did such a beautiful job. Yesterday was so great. And today's going to be epic as well. Super excited. So don't we have, we're going to open space, right? I was called to do the drumming yet again because of the frequency shift in the collective. So as we hold sacred space, as we open corners, and as we connect to the great divine, I really want us to bring forward what it is we're calling in. We are creating a freaking breakthrough. We are leaping into something better. What is that better? I'm going to take this off. I'll light my sage. Oh, they want sweetgrass today. We're going to light the sweetgrass. We're bringing in blessings. We're bringing in the highest and best good. We're bringing in those new endeavors, that new passion, those new excitements, more money, more wealth. How about not more? I don't want to use the word more. Let's shift that word into opening to deeper wealth, opening to the flow of wealth, the currency of wealth. May it dive into our bank accounts. May it dive into our beings. May we be open to hold this beautiful space. For my beautiful neurodivergents and those ready to step into the roles of the leader, or those solopreneurs who are with us, like, we are here to have and create this breakthrough. We do it with saying yes and claiming that shit. I like how both Lady Jasmine and I are dressed in black. I was really connecting to the dark goddess today as we're shifting this energy, and she claims her passion. She claims her independence. She claims her excitement. She claims her business. She claims everything that she wants, and not only claims, but she gives herself permission to have more, to create more, to bring forward more. So let's bring in that energy today as we connect to this beautiful sweetgrass, connecting to the blessings of the Yule season, connecting to the darkest day of the year as we are creating the light within ourselves. Esyamneo. Esyamneo. We're going to connect to our roots. I'm going to take off my slippers and I'm going to wiggle my toes. I guide you to do the same. Wiggle the toes, stretch out your feet, stretch out your body. I want to really get into the embodiment of your physical creation. We create in our bodies. Even though it's uncomfortable, we create comfort. So really stretching into our feet, really stretching into our bodies, stretching out our legs, our vessels, our body, our nervous system, really opening who we truly are, bringing our source of creation into full embodiment. Let's gently tap on our heart as I play the drum. Stretching the feet. Oh my God, I'm tapping my heart too. Connecting to our embodiment, bringing in 3 deep breaths. Opening the vessels of the feet, stretching our knuckles, bringing all that energy in. And deep. And exhale. And again. Stretching out the body again, really resting in our bodies. Calling that in to resting in our bodies. I'm going to call the angels and guardians of the east and the air and the rising sun. I'm a silent breather today. We're going to call in Grandmother Hawk with her beautiful highest vision, helping us see beyond our human perception, helping us see beyond our human experience, helping us see with the highest energies of love and grace. Thank you, energies and guardians of the East. Moving to the South, energies and guardians of the South and fire and the Great Phoenix. Please join us today with your passion, with your steadfast direction. Guiding us to be transmuters, to alchemize any energy in our lives, any energy in our bodies that could be keeping us from our passion, from our purpose, from leadership. Thank you, energies of the South. Moving to the West in the water, in the flow of currency, the flow of love, the flow of harmony, the flow of water. Calling in Grandmother Turtle with her beautiful ancient wisdom. Please join us today. Help us be in symbiosis with our emotions as we clear the space and step into the empowerment of our source of creation, love. Thank you, Grandmother Turtle, and the energies of the West. Moving into the North, and the earth, the rocks and the stones and the trees, on the great white buffalo, and the stag of the forest, the whispers of time and the ancestors of old. Please join us today in this sacred space. Help us see beyond our illusions. Help us see through our darkness into the empowerment of who we truly are in human form, in soul form and energy form. Help us see into our space of creation. Help us see into our empowerment, into our change, into our highest and best good. Help us see, help us feel that, our bones and our bodies, as we integrate through our darkness into a new season of light. Thank you to the ancestors and the guardians of the North. Bringing this energy in, connecting it to the East, calling this energy into our being. We are the center of this creation. We are the stewards of this earth. We are the stewards of money. We're the stewards of abundance. We're the stewards of wealth. We're the stewards of this earth. As we call this energy in, we are reminded that we do this with grace and love. And even if we feel destruction or chaos, we learn to create in this chaos. For we are chaos. We are darkness. We are stars. We are supernovas. We are the bones of the past. We are all in human form. We must remember to tap into our eternal energy, the passion and the light of our soul in this beautiful human form. So as we connect this energy to our being, we call it into sacred space, for we are the temple. Calling this into the center, opening and connecting to our chakra centers, as this is our journey through time. Our journey through remembrance, our journey into creation, and opening this up even more into our nervous system, into the vessels that connect us to everything, space, and time. We are whole, we are holy, and we are connected to all that is. Calling this energy into creation, calling this energy into human form. Learning to create matter from mass and mass from matter. Calling it all into the remembrance of our own highest and best good. For we came here with a purpose. We came here with a passion. We came here with a wild heart seeking freedom. We came here with a wild heart ready to create. This is our journey to remembrance of who we truly are. From the star systems and the depths of the earth, we awaken this in our being. And we clear all energy that is not in symbiosis with this beautiful energy. We clear timelines. We clear our chakras. We clear the chakras of the earth. We clear the energy of Mother Earth. We clear all layers and levels of our seals, of our aura, of our energy centers. We clear it now, in this now moment, because we are connected to all that is. We are everything, and everything is us. So to bring forward the visions of the future for our highest and best good, to release the chains of scarcity, to release the chains of the past, to release the chains of poverty and destruction and fear, to release the change, to release them now, for they cannot contain our energy any longer. We have claimed our sovereignty. We have claimed our love. We have claimed our energy. We have claimed our wealth. And as we open today to the connections of energy, to the connections of change that we are creating in this now moment, as we connect deeper to this Yule transition into a new space and time, we are called into presence for all that are ready to shift. We call them forward now. Now is the time to rise for all who are ready. Now is the time to be open to receive those inheritances of our divinity. For we are divine. And we call it in now. We open. We clear. We claim our space, our time, our inheritance, our connection. And so it is. Mm. Mm. I feel that. I feel that.
I feel that power.
Tingly. I'm tingly.
Oh, and it is bringing up all these emotions. It's bringing up all these sensations. And today, before our priestess, Lady Anika, dives into her power hour talk, we're going to do something about all these feelings. Apropos, today we are awakening the emotional body. So how do we awaken the emotional body? With swiping.
Oh, but I just called in.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead first.
Swiping, right? We swipe and then we hold. And we swipe, we swipe, and then we hold. And we give a little pressure, long, slow pressure. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do it 3 times today. We're going to listen to some songs, and we're going to awaken the emotional body. Now, the last 3 days, we awakened 3 other bodies. So if it calls your body, include those in there. Focus on the emotional body, especially if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling resistance, if you're feeling anything other than ooey gooey yummy deliciousness, okay? And if you're feeling that ooey yummy deliciousness, we can amplify that. So swiping away from the body is moving the energy, making it flow. Swiping towards the body is receiving and amplifying that love frequency. So be mindful of how you're swiping, because they both have different ways that they engage with the energy, body, and the nervous system. All right. So big deep breath, inhale. And exhale. Next inhale, feel into what is arising within you, what is stagnant. Exhale, let it go. Third inhale, begin your swiping. Activating your emotional body. If you need to activate the physical body, do a little wiggling. If you need to activate the mental body, do a little tapping. Swipe, swipe, swipe it all away. Yes, like that.
Mm.
Pay attention to your legs. Swipe the bottom of your feet, especially if you don't have slippers or socks on. That's really good and helpful. You can swipe your feet on the ground. Have you ever seen horses or dogs kick the ground? That's their way of swiping. They're swiping and they're clearing the energy. So when dogs and animals, they swipe at the earth, that's what they're doing. They're clearing the emotions, the energy in motion. Okay, definitely add some wiggles in there. Sit down. Bring some tapping to those tight areas. You can also use your fists, your fingertips, the sides of your hands. Yes, the palm. As you're tapping, you can do fast swiping. Beautiful. Good. Activating the emotional body. Yeah, beautiful. Fantastic. Big deep breath in, feel. Find your neutral. Find your neutral seat. Where you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, and you are not the body. You are a sacred witness to this vessel that you briefly occupy, that's ever changing. So much is always moving inside of you, even when you're in absolute stillness. Beautiful, beautiful. Big deep breaths in, inhale, and exhale. The song is called Inner Strength. And so that is what our emotions are. Our energy in motion is our inner strength. When we are in flow and we listen and we allow ourselves to be empowered with our emotional body, we tap into our inner strength. Big deep breath in, receive that inner point, bring your hands to your heart. Bring your palms together, rub, generate some heat. And then place that on your crown, holding it all in, and gently swipe down. Welcome back. So now I am going to bow out. I will still be here listening, witnessing, receiving, and give Lady Anika the stage. Yay!
Dropping all my stops today. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So today we're going to really dive into not just energy. We're going to bring it way back. We're going to go way back. We're going to go back generations and generations and generations, because when it comes to our healing, we have to remember we're not just doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for our future. We're doing this for our past. And not saying that we are contracted for that, not saying that that's what we have to do, but reminding you that as we heal, we are healing our nervous system. We are healing our bones. Therefore, we're healing from the past. Now, that being said, it's also important to remember that we carry genetics. We carry genetic codes. We carry them in our DNA. They never go away, and they carry down from generation to generation to generation. So I have a very beautiful presentation today to really connect us to not just healing, not just connecting to epigenetics, not just the chakra system, but how all is connected and how we can use that or tap into that to really amplify our own healing and to have a bigger, broader view of what healing really does for us. It's not just I'm freeing myself from trauma. It's not just I'm releasing anxiety or learning how to master my ADHD or autism. It's not just removing the negative energy in our body or our chakra system. It's not just freeing ourselves from abuse or addiction. It is literally clearing out our energy so we can connect to our highest energy. Some people would call it ascension. Some people would call it getting into mastery. This is the time of healing. We are all faced with this. That's why it's so beautiful. I've been watching my children and the younger generations, how trauma is becoming so widespread, and not trauma like trauma itself, which it is, but the words and the fact that we know that we have these traumas from our past. It's so then we can heal them. We cannot heal what we do not know we have, right? So when these newer generations are coming forward, like I have this trauma because of such and such, or my parents, or emotional irregulation, or these things, it's nice to see this so we can heal from this. So bringing this into a context, it's important to remember that this isn't, I almost said a lifelong threat. It's not something that we have to suffer in. We're not here to re-traumatize ourselves. We're here to free our energy. We're here to heal our nervous system. We're here to free ourselves from disease, from negativity, from negative thoughts, from repetition, repeating thoughts and repeating experiences in our life. So as we dive into this beautiful presentation, just remember that this is huge. Deciding that I want to heal my anxiety is freaking huge, because we are connected to our ancestors and we are connected to the future generations. When it comes to a woman, the seeds in her womb are connected to all of her ancestors and all the children after her. So it's beautiful that we literally have that connection in utero. I'm like, in utero. I don't know what the words would say. We're gonna pull up the presentation because now I'm rambling. Okay, we're gonna keep it in line here. Where is my presentation? Why does it not want to show up on there? Here we go. It is there. It is there. It is there. It is there. It's huge. Okay, now I've been doing chakra. Like when I first started really deciding that I wanted to heal, the chakras were the first place my guides took me. Now it's really important to hold that into thought, because we are energy and our energy is everything. And our chakras hold all of that crap that has ever happened in our lives. Let's see if I can pull this up. We are not even in the right tier. Let's see, it's not on there. Oh, Windows. Here we go. Hey. It's not on there either. How do I? I might have to do it on here. Okay, we might have to do it on there. Okay, hold on. That's a bummer. Let me get her figured out here. Oh, it's because it's Chrome. Okay, we might have to do it in Canva, which is a bummer because I had it in the thing, which is okay. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. There we go. Can we see it? Why? Let's see. I can see it. I'll bet you can see it. Let's get this out of here.
I can see it.
Let's see if I can make it. I don't know. I don't know. That is a bummer. Here we go. What's this? Now I'm pushing buttons. Here we go.
Hit the present button in the upper right hand.
Okay, thank you.
And then present. There you go.
I did not know that Canva did that. Hey, it's super
Now
big
you
though.
do.
Can I make it smaller? Nope. Can we go back and forth?
It looks.
Oh.
You have to do it from the Canva page.
I'm on the Canva page.
It should switch now for you.
Okay, go back to the settings.
It's presenting. It's not, there is no settings.
Can
Okay,
you-
we're just gonna go for it. You guys
There
can
you
see it, I can see it, right?
Yeah, I mean, can you hit that arrow button down there in the bottom left corner?
I don't see that, but I can move it now. We're good.
Okay.
Okay. Epigenetics and the connection to our stars and the ancestors. It's really important to remember that we are all that is. When we opened up Sacred Space today, we are our ancestors, and that is star beings as well. And they were a huge part of us in our epigenetics, in our source of creation. So we're not gonna touch base on that too much, but it's important to remember that they are part of who we are. So our ancestral connection, past generations, ancient DNA, and how our soul wisdom rises through us, the nervous system and clearing and upgrading, and deep healing with quantum shifting. So it's so beautiful. When we connect to not the inner feminine, not the woman, not just our mother, but of the essence of earth, of the essence of creation, is through the womb space, is connected to the womb, is connected to the roots, is connected to Mother Earth, and it's absolutely beautiful. The importance of trauma healing and the connection to Mother Earth is just that. It's a true soul sovereignty, generating healing, generating wealth, and generating freedom. Carried down generations, because the earth is timeless, it's supposed to say, for we are timeless, which is very sexy. So as we see this beautiful mother or grandmother in the mother's womb, we're going to turn it over here to this beautiful page and see this. Can you see my arrow? Yes. Look at how, like, what does that make you feel right here? This one right here. Go ahead. I'd love to hear your guys' input. And for those on the replay, this beautiful picture of this woman carrying her child from a very, very old photograph. To me, this was scarcity. To me, this brought...
Yeah, she looks really tired, worn out, exhausted.
Mm-hmm. And the deepness of how far we have come for generations and generations. We're coming from the dark ages. We're still coming from the dark ages. And not just, I'm like, I don't want this to be, we're not even going to touch base on that. This is kind of the things that we are healing from. And this is stuff that we carry in our DNA, we carry it in our nervous system, we carry it in our spine, we carry it in our energy. And this comes through the birth canal. It comes through the womb space. It comes through generations and generations and generations. The healing and connection of the neurons. You know, when we are in utero, our brain and our nervous system is what is created first, which is really beautiful, but it can be really intense. So what were our mothers doing? What were our grandmothers doing? Even just in our mother and our birth and the birth of ourselves carried trauma, carried deep emotions, deep feelings that weren't even really our own. So when we connect to this deep healing process, we are connected to all that is. And it's very beautiful. But when we connect to the nervous system, as we do this healing work, we are freeing this part of our nervous system. We are releasing this negative energy. We are releasing, I'm like, epigenetics of our past. Very beautiful. Let's move this over. I have to keep moving this over. So when we're connecting to our nervous system and the nervous system of their children, it's not just coming from the womb space. It's also everything that we've learned in 7 years of time up until now. And then also if we've experienced any car accidents, any sort of trauma in our adult years, this also triggers into our nervous system, into PTSD and CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, which is the post-traumatic stress, is the experiences that we carry, right? It has to be on there. Now, I was looking at a generation generator, and it was really cool to see the 7 generations was from the 1600s to 1800s, and 12 generations was like 1400s to 1700s. When we get through this, I shouldn't say get through this, when we go through this process of healing our nervous system and the family tree, we are connecting to this ancient wisdom within us. We are connecting to soul gifts, psychic gifts, spiritual gifts, energy gifts, a knowing that comes from beyond space and time, which is very, very beautiful. And once we begin healing the nervous system and our connection to our ancestors and the ancient bloodlines becomes very clear to us. Soon we were able to uncover and integrate deep spiritual gifts in our DNA and nervous system. And these gifts come from ancient golden bloodlines that we all have, all of us. One of Yeshua's most profound teachings. And we're connecting to the ancient bloodlines of magic, of wisdom, of energy manipulation, right? Of knowledge, of, I hear Gnosticism, which is very interesting, becoming an oracle, just even tapping into our source of creation, learning how to heal, learning how to create with our energy and with everything within us. When we create a symbiosis, when we are in harmony, we create a symbiosis, and the perfect grounds for intercellular healing and regeneration. The nervous system is our energy, and the energy is our nervous system. Just like the plants and the trees, they have their roots that connect to the mycelium. It literally connects to all that is. The more we clean out this energy, the more we clean out our nervous system and our chakra system, the more we feel, the more we connect, and the more we get into that creative power. It's super sexy. It's super sexy. Now, this slide is really, really powerful. It's one of my favorites. I brought 2 courses together here because one was about epigenetics and the other one was really tapping into our celestial power. The picture to the left here is our energy. Is our energy before we start the healing process. It is everywhere. It is in chaos. And it is disconnected from the earth and is disconnected from the root system. It is a freaking mess. When we don't know about energy, when we don't know about healing our emotions or working through these different energy techniques, this is our natural, normal aura. And this is you, me, and everybody. When I even started this is what my energy looked like. As we get through this healing, as we learn these beautiful, amazing tools, we step into this creation energy. Our energy goes from chaos to creation. And yes, we still have the spirals of the light and the dark, which is our subconscious, our patterns, our programs. These things still come up sometimes. But when we learn these tools through the beautiful coursework that we share, we get to master these. And maybe not master is the proper word. Learn the tools to process these deeper emotions. Learn the tools to process the energy, the emotions, the chaos, the hate, the abandonment, the rage, right? All of these are emotions that we all feel in human form, which is beautiful. And even deeper, we learn to activate our Merkaba, which is our light body, which is a high level teaching that I won't get into fully right now, but it's part of our stepping into our source of creation. When Ezekiel talks about the golden wheel, this is what he was talking about. Our Merkaba is good for time travel. It's good for healing. It's good for healing our body and those around us. It's good for learning how to use and shift our energy, shift the energies in rooms, become an energy master, right? It's very, very powerful. That's one of my favorites. Now, when we look at this chaos, right? It's chaos. When we are out of alignment and in repeat patterns, these feelings, these emotions, these abusive ex-husbands and wives and relationships and destructive family members, anxiety, fear, these loops repeat over and over and over again because our energy creates everything. Our energy literally calls in everything. When we're in destructive patterns, we call in more destructive patterns. We call in trauma and the pain repeats. It's hard to manifest. It's hard to create our desired reality. We get really stuck in anger or rage or depression or abandonment. It's hard to find peace and happiness. We can be sick. We can have arthritis. We can feel heavy, clogged. Life feels dull and unfulfilled. Your body can feel clogged or in a constant pain of distress, depression, anxiety, become a normal way of living, which is why everything feels so out of control right now. We are prone to sickness and stress and burnout. We attract chaos and destruction. And this is normal. This is our human way of living, which is, we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that. But we can take our power back. We can step into these different healing tools that we share. We can take our power back, our celestial energy, our celestial chakras, our celestial body, our nervous system, and we can be in symbiosis. We can be in healing with the earth. We can be in harmony with the earth and everyone around us. And it heals our body. It's very, very beautiful. Now, when it comes to healing, starts in the root. I'm going to move this over. The root chakra is our seat of creation, our connection to the mother. When it's clogged, it can lead to feeling insecure with life, money, and left feeling lost or anxious, abandoned, insecure. I said that one already. It can be a deep feeling as nobody loves me. I feel alone. I feel like I belong on another planet. I hear that a lot from my clients. This is a big part of our root chakra being clogged. And I don't know if I've had any clients come to me that didn't have a clogged or blocked root chakra or a clogged or blocked chakra system. Now, our chakra system's open and closed with the energy, with our thoughts, with our emotions. That's normal. But when we learn some of these beautiful tools, we can learn to tap into that energy center and work with its flow and to unclog it ourselves. Now, even energy masters, I've taught myself to go into a space for feeling my different chakras, feeling the energy. Is it milky? Is it icky? Is it dark? Does it feel clogged? Because our thoughts are energy, right? Our emotions are energy. Our feelings are energy. And it can create blocks. Another reason why stepping into these powerful tools and learning the tools in these toolboxes that we share in our coursework really helps you step into your energy is mastering your human. What would we call it? Human homo luminous. Let's call it mastering our human. We can come up with a better word than that. I'm like, what would be a good word for that? I'm not a word magician. But connecting back to the root chakra, connecting back with the root chakra, it is our connection to our mother, where we feel secure, where we feel health, wealth, and abundance, where we feel like we are taken care of, where we feel like, what is the affirmation that I use all the time? The universe is always working in my favor. This is just these words alone are tapping into that root chakra and helping that energy stay clear. It's very beautiful. When we're not in a space of balance, it makes it very hard to create wealth, health, and deep loving relationships. And it also connects us to all that we freaking are. When beautiful Lady Dressman earlier was talking about the trees, like I did want to share though, I'm such a tree spirit. When it's windy, they go. I watched I was gonna not share for a second. I was watching a beautiful woman. She lived in a tree for 3 years to keep them from cutting down the old sycamores in the mountains. Watching the wind go, they go back and forth. That tree that she lived in was like one of the tallest trees I've ever seen. I couldn't imagine living at the top of that tree because that tree is always waving with the wind. And when we tap into these energy practices and our nervous system and tapping into our earthly creation, we can still weave and we can still blow, but our roots are strong. Our nervous system is strong. Our mycelium is strong. Okay, just connecting to the chakra system just a little bit. There's so much to uncover in the chakra system. I know Lady Dressman, she goes deep into the word magic. And I'm an energy magician. I connect to energy. And just briefly, different blocks in our chakra system, starting at the root, we feel lack, scarcity, fear, abandonment. When that's balanced, we feel in abundance. We feel money, we feel growth, we feel secure in our life. And these are just a small part of a huge part of energy and words and emotion. When we get to the sacral chakra, we feel no pleasure, emotional lack, we feel insecure, we have creative blocks. When we're in balance, it's creative flow, pleasure, emotional balance, empowerment. There's so much and so many of these. I could go on and on and on just on the chakra systems alone, but I'm going to keep it on track here as much as I can. The solar plexus, we feel no willpower, addiction, fear, no confidence, stuck in really disempowering cycles, not having power to speak your truth or to make changes in your life. When it's balanced, we can feel powerful. We're able to set boundaries and say no. We're able to achieve something new, maybe ask for a raise, right? When we connect to the heart space, we're looking at unworthiness, helplessness, hopelessness, insecure, lost. Nobody will love me, unworthiness. When it's in balance a little bit, it's in love, secure, balanced, in flow, feeling connected to others. It's a big part. And the throat chakra is frogs in the throat, no boundaries, no self-expression, really, really lack of creative control. When it's in balance, it's creative flow, joyful, in alignment. When we're looking at the third eye, it's low intuition, feeling disconnected from source, feeling powerless in human form, feeling like I want to escape this world. Also ties into the root chakra. These all go back and forth, and we all go into this balance. We all create a perfect balance when these are in balance, or when they're not. We go back and forth. When it's in balance, it's confident in intuition, connected to self and purpose. And with the crown chakra, cutting off from source, insecure in life, making bad choices. When it's in connection, we're higher connections, alignment, and flow. Now, there's only 7 here. I think we have like 112 chakras, different energy bodies. There's so much. Energy is all this. We're going to keep it simple. Now, bringing it to the 7 chakras, just 7, and the layers of the earth. How cool is that? That we all have the same aura. We have the same connection. We have the same aura. Of course it does, right? From the smallest microbial, which are, if we don't have proper microbials in our stomach, we are not processing food properly, which is the same thing in the mulch soil that we've been talking about through this whole summit. From the smallest speck of bacteria to the biggest part of our aura, the stratosphere, the exosphere, we are all connected. When we're going through this healing process, when we learn to tap into our creative energy, all of this energy is ours to utilize, which is super awesome. It's beyond human conception, beyond human understanding. And the more I've been doing this for a long time, and I've stepped into mastery in many areas of my life, and I'm still learning more. My most recent thing has been telekinesis. Moving objects with my energy. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful, and it's quite fun. And I show people that, and still there's disbelief, which is because our mind doesn't understand those things. That's beyond our human understanding, which is so exciting. Which means there's limitless potential, which is exciting. I look forward to that. So I just wanted to show the different layers here, the 7 chakras with the layers of the beautiful, I almost said uterus, which is interesting. Moving on, we're going to connect to looking at the nervous system and the roots of trees. The nervous system even goes even deeper into like mycelium, right? Absolutely beautiful. I have a class just on the mycelium and how our body is connected to the mycelium and how it connects in like, I think Dr. Serena was talking about it yesterday. When you stub your toe, all of your consciousness goes to that toe. It's because of the nerves, because of the mycelium, the beautiful little nerve endings in your toes, in your body, in your bones. When we learn and tap into and clear our chakra system and clear our nervous system, we can tap into that energy within us. It's very beautiful. Rewilding and tapping into our primal power. That's why this beautiful goddess is here, right here. Tapping into that primal power. And then this is really just a visual of the chakras when they're in symbiosis, when they're in perfect flow. I wanted to have the tree of life up here, but I didn't. It creates this perfect aura and perfect flow. This is also polarity therapy. This energy goes this way. This energy goes this way, because we are a battery. We are literally a battery. And there again is the Merkaba, and when our energy is in perfect flow with the higher and lower spirals of our consciousness, spirals of our subconscious and conscious energy. There's definitely deeper meanings and deeper teachings into that. And I love how this one is a Caduceus, how it comes into with the wings with the Caduceus. This is such an ancient symbol that goes far beyond my human words can express. But this is our path to healing through our own energy, through our own consciousness. Every chakra has a consciousness. All of our emotions have a consciousness. And as we tap into this beautiful energy of this and the nervous system and learn the magic in there, we can truly change ourselves and change the world around us. We can create a quantum breakthrough. We can create a quantum change. And this can happen in little forms. Making more money, getting a better job, into creating a whole new life. And it's freeing because we're freeing our emotions. We're freeing those traumas from the past. We're disconnecting those energies from our energy system so we're not recreating them. We're clearing out our energy so we can be in this alignment of ascension. It's so exciting. And then this is the last one. Rewilding and healing happens when we connect back to our nervous system and the ancient roots of healing. It's so beautiful. And as we tap into this, and as we connect to this, there's so much to learn. There's so much to uncover. And there's so much to... There's just so much. I can go on and on. I didn't want to geek out too much. I could put a couple things in together. We're going to stop sharing screen here.
Geek out, Lady Anika.
I've been in a deep dive with the mycelium for a very long time. Plant medicine was very important to me for the beginning of my healing journey. Because of how it connects us to our nervous system, how it connects us to the earth around us, and not just the earth, the galaxies, the planet, the black holes, and how we are in symbiosis with all of this. There was a photo I was going to add where our chakras are connected to the same frequency of the different planets. And I mean, it can go so deep, and we can geek out about so many different parts of it. But to keep it simple, to create a quantum breakthrough, it's tapping into these energy centers. It's tapping into our fucking source of creation. We are source in human form. We're not, I saw a meme the other day, and I'm not the God, but I am a God because I am the source of creation in human form. I have the same stars that the stars carry, the galaxies carry. It's very beautiful, and as do you. And as we learn to uncover those human conditioning, those human patterns, the fear and the trauma and the scarcity that we have carried on for freaking generations, then we can tap into that energy and create quantum change. And this is for anybody. This is for everybody. It doesn't matter where you are in your journey. It doesn't matter if you're at the very beginning when you're deciding you're done with the bullshit. You're done with anxiety and depression. You're done with scarcity. And I like to call it trauma loops, addiction, toxic relationships. Those are two of the biggest ones that my clients come to me with. They're tired of not being loved. They're tired of toxic relationships or being yelled at or addiction. And it doesn't matter where you are. The beginning of the journey when you're tired of it, and you say, no more, I'm stepping into my power. Really, we step on because I'm tired of anxiety. I'm tired of feeling depressed. I'm tired of feeling stuck or sick. But once we get into this healing process, we really step into our fucking source of creation. We are creators. And it's so beautiful. Like anything else. And like that didn't take very long. I didn't want to overgive. Do you anybody have any questions? Do you have anything to say or add?
I have two things. I hope I can remember this right now because I didn't want to interrupt you. One of the things you had said earlier I thought was really profound was not everybody knows, right? Not everybody knows what's wrong with them. So it's really hard to heal when we don't know. But I think intuitively we know something is wrong. You know, like I said on my talk, you know, the other day that I was like, I always was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? But we're not taught to, you know, we're just taught to go to the doctor for a cold or whatever and fix a symptom with a pill or whatever. And I think that kind of segues into how you were like, people don't always understand this and it's kind of a lot. And I know you did a great job of like, you know, keeping it as simple as you could for us to get a good basic understanding, because this could go way, way deep, right? But like, here's the thing, is like, first of all, I'll never forget, and I saw an interview, Oprah was interviewing Deepak Chopra. You know, we know Deepak, he's an actual medical doctor and he's a spiritual guy and he's written over, 80 books or something like that. And she asked him, what do you know for certain? And he says, absolutely nothing. we are this big, right? We're this big in this whole entire universe. He's like, I have no idea what's out there. Like nothing. I know absolutely nothing for sure. But we get so caught in our little boxes, right? And and you're talking about like people don't always understand all this, but here's the thing: we're not taught this. We didn't teach that. They didn't teach me this in 5th grade science class, right? My parents didn't teach me this. My grandparents didn't teach me this. But the reality is we know everything is energy, right? Quantum physics has proven that. But like what we don't think of, that people don't talk about, X-rays are energy. MRIs are energy, right? It's so what makes this any different? But nobody brings that to the awareness. It gets kind of put in the woo-woo box, and it's just not fully understood. And that's why it's so important that you're educating people with these summits and in your Facebook group and on your platform, because once you have an understanding of it, it's life-changing.
I love that. I love that. And it's woo-woo because of that conditioning. We have that conditioning saying that those things are not allowed because it's not science. But now it is science. Now there's scientific facts that there's energy healing and there's quantum energy and there's all these different X-rays, like you were saying.
It's been around for that longer than Western medicine, but we got burned at the stake for doing this stuff. It's been, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's been squashed. It's like, nope, you're not allowed to talk about this or do this. You're witches. You're right. Like, and it's so important that we pivot that for people.
Yes.
And I love that you did bring it, like epigenetics is a real science. I love that you brought that in. And, there's science and spirituality go hand in hand.
Yes. I'm glad there is science to back it up, but we didn't really need science to back it up. But a lot of people, it helps them get past that uncomfortableness of, is this safe? Like we were listening to beautiful Ariel in day 1. She didn't know if this was safe or not. She had to follow her intuition to really, because I was doing ruins when we first met. And she was like, dude, is this safe or not? And I feel like a lot of us really go for that. Even me, I went through those spaces of religious conditioning, breaking through that spaces where we've been told for thousands of years that this isn't good. Not even told, slaughtered at the stake for how long? Anything beyond what they wanted us to understand. Most definitely.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing. What was one of your biggest takeaways when I was talking about the epigenetics and energy and tying that into Mother Earth?
Well, I mean, this isn't totally new to me, so I can't say off the top of my head. I think the most profound thing is you said was so simple, in that not everybody knows. You can't heal if you don't know. So we have to be open to what's going on in our bodies, and that it's not always our fault, right? Like, think about I'm thinking of that picture of the old lady holding the baby, and it's like, how many women like were working in the fields, and having children and didn't get, 6 weeks maternity leave, right? And that comes down to all those through all those generations. So a lot of this, what's wrong with me, or something's going on, it's not even always yours. And it's so, to me, a little easier to fix once you realize it's not yours and work on that and release it. Then it's like, whoa, healing goes so much easier and faster.
That's interesting that you brought it in that context, because I had a beautiful mentor tell me, if we pick it up, it's ours. Especially when we break out of being an empath, right? I take on other people's energies, it makes me sick. But we took that on. So if we pick it up, it's ours. But for some reason, when we have that space, when we're like, that's not mine, I don't have to hold on to that. So I wonder where that connection is when in our human brain or in our neurological functions, where if we pick something up, we have to hold on to it. If it's not ours, I don't have to carry it. I'm going to really sit with that.
I think we hold on to it because we don't always know how to get rid of it. Like I didn't always know that it wasn't mine either. And as an empath, I have to constantly be reminding myself when I go through stuff, and I forget because I'm just so used to being in that space. But I'll be like, wait a minute, is this mine? Because 80% of an empath's emotions are not their own. 80%. That's a lot. So a lot of times when I'm in a not so great space, if I remember to ask myself and remind myself and ask, is this mine or is this somebody else's? And a lot of times it's not mine. And then it's a lot easier to release. But we're so used to, energy workers and light workers and grid workers, we are very strong, independent women. And we're just used to carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, right? Like we just do it because we've done it for generations.
I think that goes back to the being a warrior. I have to be a warrior for my family, for my friends, and really that's really can be causing a distortion in our own embodiment of that energy of creation. And when we wear all that baggage and we wear all those wounds, are we being in our most creative form? Are we being in our creative flow?
Depends on the person. For some people, it might really, fuel them. I don't know. Everybody's different, but I think it goes back to the self-care piece. Why it's so important to do the self-care and do the work, do our own self-work and inner work, so we can decipher and know what's fueling us, what's not fueling us.
I love that. And I think that also goes in layers as we go through this healing process and we connect to our temple of creation, and we learn that I don't have to work 90 hours a week to call in what I want. I feel like that's another huge conditioning piece that we're learning to work through, even as I've been creating all this online stuff. 4 to 5 hours a day is more than enough to be in your working mode. And really in our human brain, it can't take much more than that without doing something else. We have only 90 minutes or 60 to 90 minutes of focus within our brain. Yeah. Very beautiful, very powerful. Do you have any questions?
Picking up on what Pamela was saying, we don't know. And I feel like that's just honestly, not an excuse, at least not the first time you acknowledge it, right? But rather that awareness point, that aha moment of, I didn't know that there was something different. I didn't know that it could be better. I didn't know that it could be easier. And I feel like the invitation that I would like everyone tuning in to consider is, just be gentle with yourself. Even if you were aware that there was a different way, or there was, an intuitive feeling of, okay, something's not right, or maybe there's an expansion of thought consciousness is needed, that shame and that guilt can come up, right? And those are the deeper layers within the epigenetics of being ostracized for not knowing. In today's world where the rites of passage have all but been obliterated, there are a few leaders out there who are bringing back the rites of passage, but there's definitely not enough of that. And that's growing and changing, which I'm really grateful to see. But let's bring into awareness that there's this rites of passage that hasn't been acknowledged. And so when do you stop being the little girl and when do you get to be the grown-up? How do you know what the spaces and containers for that looks like, and what is quote unquote appropriate, and when you haven't been guided through, okay, now it's time to put certain behaviors, ways of engaging aside and transform that into something else so that you can continue evolving. And I love also, how you showed the energy fields of the human body and the energy fields of the earth, and how it's like there's a mirror and a parallel, right? So if you think about if we think about the soul work that we do based on that visual, when you work on your root chakra, can you also visualize that you're doing that for the earth? And that's part of the quantum magic. That's part of the quote unquote quantum leaping that I'll be diving deeper into tomorrow, is how do we hold that duality while in the thick of it? And it's by staying rooted in that awareness of those energy lines, those primary energy centers, the chakras, the wheels of spiraling energy, that is intricately interwoven with the earth lines. Like we are because she is.
Mm-hmm.
We need the earth. Like she's fine without us. She could send one hurricane, be like, bye, Childs. You be fucking up my shit. Get the fuck out, right? Like she could really turn things around, but she chooses to co-weave with us. And so can we also bring more thought and intention and gentleness in our growing awareness of, oh wow, we are all connected.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. As you were saying that, it brought me back to when I was talking about the mycelium and when I was talking about the good bacteria and bad bacteria and probiotics in our stomach, right in our stomach. Maybe some of us are part of that probiotic for her. She does need us and we do need her. But we've lost our way. We've lost our way of connecting with her. We've lost our way of stewarding for that symbiotic relationship. It's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I love how you bring that where the probiotic, right? Because then that again brings that awareness of like we all have a role to play, but being shitheads is not a role.
But when we don't change, we don't step into healing, we don't step into empowerment until we're tired of eating our own shit. Who can vouch with me, right? Are you tired of eating your own shit? Tired of eating your belief systems, your trauma, the pain in your body, feeling icky all the time, eating too much junk food, like whatever it is that brings you to your healing process? We get tired of eating our own shit. I get tired of feeling like shit, so I'm going to step into a bigger part of myself.
And that ties into something I write about in my most recent book, in my chapter of my most recent co-authored book. It's like, change will not happen until you want it bad enough. Until the shit hurts enough, until it stings enough. It's like I always think about that something I heard years ago of like, you tell a child to not stick his fingers in the socket, he's gonna do it anyway, and then it'll hurt, and then he'll be like, oh, maybe there's wisdom in there. And so in a similar way, adults are also still stuck in that child mind because of largely in reason to the breaking of the rites of passage. There hasn't been a ceremony to transition the consciousness into that higher state of maturation.
Interesting. I like how you bring it back to ceremony, Lady Jasmine. That's very beautiful.
I have something I want to put out there for sake of conversation. I don't disagree with what you just said. Like, right, it's a whole, you have to hit rock bottom before, right? That's what people say. Alcoholics don't recover till they hit rock bottom or whatever. But I'm wondering, I'm like, does everybody know? Like, I think there are so many people that grow up in dysfunction and abuse and they don't know any better. They don't know that they feel like shit all the time. They just think this is normal, right? And they drink and they do drugs and they repeat the patterns and the cycle, and history, repeats itself. And I think some people never have that awakening. They're so zoned out all the time. And, whether it's like, binge watching Netflix, scrolling on social media, eating the junk food, drugs, alcohol, whatever, they are so numbed out and so stuck. I think some people actually don't ever know that they're living in their shit and don't ever get tired of it.
Some people probably don't.
Yeah.
But what about the ones that are? What about the ones that do?
Well, those are the ones that are on their hero's journey and doing the healing and doing the work, right? But I'm just like, what makes those people different, right? What makes us different from somebody who's, so stuck in the numbing that they never get tired of eating shit?
My personal hero journey started when I knew I was made for more.
How did you know? Like, when did you have that aha?
Oh, I felt it. I've always known I was made for more. I used to pray to the damn water when I was like 7 years old to help me work through the trauma of my toxic freaking family. But plus, my mom was nice. She was a beautiful soul who said, you can do anything you put your mind to. I didn't like watching humanity suffer. I didn't like watching people be in rage or alcoholism or addiction or drought. I guess that's a good question. How did you know you were made for more and you had a bigger calling here on this earth?
Are you talking to me or Jasmine?
You.
Me. I think I just have always wanted to save the animals, right? And really saving the animals was saving myself.
Beautiful.
You know, and then unfortunately I went into adulthood and that turned into saving all the broken boys. Luckily I figured that out real quick. What was it for you, Jasmine?
I feel like I've had so many moments in my life where opportunities presented themselves to choose the lower way, the lower frequency, or even exit out of the earth plane. But the most poignant and the one that's coming to mind right now is when I woke up from my first suicide, my first and last like true suicide attempt. And I, whatever it is that I did, I slept for 3 days and I didn't die. And any other being that I've known who has taken that amount of substance in that combination, and with my pre-medical background, I knew the exact dose to take, so there was no return. It was a fucking miracle that I made it back. Like there's no way a human could have survived that without having their stomach pumped. And the fact that I survived that made me realize that I was meant for more. And even though there was years of denial and resistance to that and weak attempts to disassociate from my higher calling that was very muted underneath layers of trauma and substance abuse, it was waking up and feeling the acute pain in my body from not having moved my limbs in a few days. And just when I first woke up, I was like, what the fuck? Why am I alive? And then, that quickly passed. And I was like, holy shit, I'm still alive. And that was louder in the moment. And that was like the first like bell of there's something higher for you. And you don't get the easy route of death. You don't get the easy route of checking out.
Yeah, you don't get to choose when you leave the planet.
Contrary to belief, that is true. That is true. I mean, I feel like when it comes to suicide, and I've definitely sat with the council about, what allows certain beings to exit the consciousness of the human timeline when they choose to take their own life. And it's because either what I have received through the Akash and through my sitting with the council is 2 reasons. One, there's a fracture in the quantum grid that allows an entity to come and hijack that soul and take it out of the earth plane. But more often than not, as planetary alignments shift, during shifting points, the veils of the world thin. And depending on where they are in their evolution of consciousness and on their soul journey, they do get that option because that is part of their free will to exit.
I love how you always bring it back to energy and the quantum grids.
It's the fucking truth. It's just like the truth as I see it.
You're such a Virgo, planetary shifter, traveler of the ethers.
I'm just sitting here quietly, I promise.
Yeah. I think that was a great question. When was your moment? Did I ask you that, Dr. Pamela? It was the animals.
It always comes back to the animals for me. Yeah, but I don't remember a time not being connected to the animals. Like, there was always. So to me, it was that something greater is I'm here for the animals, to be the voice for the voiceless, because I just could see you know, growing up not being seen and heard, I was hyper vigilant to the animals not being seen and heard, to their needs.
Mm-hmm. I like how you have been able to see how your trauma led you to a superpower. I feel like that's a big part of what we do for the people that are clients, is to help them see why they have the trauma, or maybe not why they have the trauma, but what they can do with it. You know, being an empath in the beginning of my journey was such a curse, the empath curse, but really that helped me be hyper vigilant, to see everybody in the room and to feel all the different energies of the people and the animals of the earth, and to be super open to shift or help or consciously be present, or to not, you know. That trauma that led me to needing to be that to keep myself safe led me into a place of being in my presence and being in my power to help where and when I can. So it's nice that we can do that in a beautiful way.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And what other traumas, or I don't want to call them traumas, I want to call them, what's the word I'm looking for? Experiences, labels that we have from our trauma have led us to superpowers. Do we have any of those? Like the empath being present to keep myself safe led me into being in my power to help other people. What other type of traumas led us to super hypervigilance?
Thank you. Yes, actually, I did want to address something that Pamela mentioned, you know, like about the whole empath thing. Like 80% of what we pick up isn't really ours. I mean, when I talk about empaths, we're like sponges. You know, you throw a sponge in a sea, it's just gonna soak up the water, right? That's the nature of the empath. And we got to wring ourselves out regularly, right? We got to take some time to sift through, and that's where that daily practice of self-awareness and cultivation of our energy centers comes in, and why strengthening our awareness of our core primary energy channels and regular tuning and nurturing of self is so vital to that. Something that also helped me come into deeper acceptance of that is looking at my human design. Now, I'm not a human design expert. I've only been doing the study on self, but what I learned within my human design is I have an open heart center, an open emotional center. And one of the guidances was, you know, if you feel like an intense emotion, give it 24 hours before you react to it. And it's a practice that I've instilled within my life. And usually 3/4 of the day later, 80% of the emotion is gone. And so, you know, that is an invitation as well to look at when we talk about the nervous system. That's what I see human design as. Human design is the nervous system of our individual makeup. So how is your, you know, we have, yes, the overall physiology of the nervous system, which Lady Anika was talking about. We have the paralleling energy bodies to the earth lines. But then we have our individual little quirks in there that make us sovereign, that can really be shed a light on through the study of human design, from my experience, and from many other beings who have also taken in human design with an open-mindedness and taking the time to sit with it and their own charts.
Don't you feel it's just another way to understand yourself? Like it's information, you know, to help us understand, oh, this is why I am the way I'm. Like, you know, like I'm a Virgo too. And like when I had my chart read, I was like, oh, that explains so much, right? Of why I am the way I am. And we need that. We need that as trauma survivors and thrivers, because we were always told, I shouldn't say we, I was always told I was no good, right? Like, and undeserving, and it's or shut down for me being me. So it's like, oh wait, no, this is just how I'm designed. This is how I was made, and learn to embrace our natural traits, which helps us step into our superpowers, right?
Absolutely.
I love that. They shut down for me being me. And going back to our talk yesterday, who are we really? Who are we? we've been fitting in our parents' box when we were young, and then we fit into society's box, so we fit into the crowd of people. Who are we, and when do we give ourselves permission to figure that out? And I talk with my sister a lot. She's, well, I won't go into it too deeply, but I ask her, like, what do you want? What do you decide? To put down life circumstances and take the power of energy and the power of your human creation into your own hands. Going back to your guys' chat about human design and our star systems and using that for a mirror. What if we're always also using that for a path of empowerment, to take that power back, to take that power into our own hands, to become that source of creation, to create a quantum leap, to open ourselves up to have more wealth and to have more money, and to create change, not just for ourselves, but for those who have suffered as we have, and into the space of empowerment.
And I love that you brought that question, what do I want? Because, you know, Pamela earlier was talking about, like, well, how does someone know if that's just their normal? If your normal is to just always feel like shit and that's your comfortable, how do you know that there's something more? And what I have found is asking that question, what do I want, really starts to break that. Because now we're using that I statement of power. What do I want? Oh, you know, we're watching video games. Okay, there's that we. What do I want? What do you want? What do I want, right? And then I've noticed this in my work with trauma-empowered coaching. Trauma-informed coaching is like, when we start asking the question of what do I want, it really starts to break that wall of denial and of illusion that what is in the current reality, isn't it true or not?
Love that. And
how many kids stuck in a trauma cycle are ever asked, what do you want? What do you want to be when you grow up? Like, nobody ever asked me that. Nobody said I could be anything I wanted to be. So until somebody comes into their life and asks them those questions, they don't think about it, I'm sure.
Right. And so we're asking our audience today, in this moment, what do you want? Let's take a big deep breath in and feel into that, right? First breath, cleansing. Second breath, grounding. Third breath, listening. What do I want in this moment? Oh, my body said drink some water. I'm going to do that right now. It could be that simple. Or it could be as, I don't want to, you know, waste my time anymore spending 6 hours a day watching video games. I want to come over and hang out with Lady Anika in her soul salon, in her membership, and activate and empower my highest excellence.
Right. Did you say highest sexy?
Oh, I didn't say
yes,
that.
I like that.
Highest sexy. I like it.
I claim my highest sexy. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Queen. Bringing that into the sexiness of the nature. I think through this trauma healing journey, we can really tap into our pleasure center and tap into what sexy really is, and not just in a three-dimensional term, but what it feels like to really be in human form, what it feels like to be in human energy, what it feels like to have a real orgasm, right? When we tap into energy healing, when we tap into our source of creation, we get to experience those things on a completely different level, bringing it back to energy, which is such a beautiful way of experiencing life in human form from a expansive creation sense.
Mm-hmm.
Tapping into the sexy of things.
And let's talk about that sexy energy, right? Because, like, when we are not connected to our sexual power, and I touched briefly about this on Monday, no, Tuesday, when I was activating our sensual body, like that's a wound in the root chakra. That's a wound in our sense of safety and our belonging, our ability to anchor our roots and multiply and make sure that we leave an imprint that lasts. And because, again, there hasn't been like that cultivation of home, like the home family unit has been fractured for many timelines. It has also created a fracture in our sexual energy. where now sex is being used as a weapon. Sex is being used as a tool of manipulation and mind control. I mean, here in the US, everywhere, everything is hypersexualized. Even the practice of yoga, which has nothing to do with sex, has become sexualized. Oh, you got to dress sexy. Oh, you got to have a certain body. Oh, you need to be able to contort yourself in this way. No, that is not the practice of yoga. I mean, yoga can definitely be sexy. But like, let's, Lady Anika, I would love for you to dive into, the connection of sexuality and the root chakra and how that shows up for you and your evolution and growth through that.
Especially through trauma healing and sexual healing.
Yes.
Just in this lifetime, sexuality was I dare say stolen from me. And I know a lot of people who are going through different types of healing processes can relate that when that fracture happens in our energy and that fracture happens in our body, we cut ourselves off from life. We cut ourselves off when our root chakra is so wounded. We cut ourselves off from life, from creation, from pleasure, from experiencing pleasure. And we get into that space of numb disassociation. And this is the safest place to be when our soul is checked out and we're in numb disassociation and we're just living life as it's supposed to be lived. I would say really taking that sexual power back is giving yourself the freedom to experience life again. When you were talking about your moment when you knew that you were here for something bigger, when you were here for something more, that moment when there is more to this life and there is more to the energy of life and there is more to what we came here for. Western society and our world has taken sexuality and morphed it into something far beyond its sacred act. And its sacred act is the energy and connection between two people and the energy and connection between yourself. And as we go through this healing journey and as we take our power back into our body, we get to experience those things in a different form. And we get to also realize that a sex and an orgasm can be experienced in many, many, many different ways, shapes, or forms without even the act of sexual means. You know what I mean? We can dance with the energy of creation or dancing with the energy of a life or leaves or plants or trees and be able to feel an energy exchange between life and between our own energy, which is very, very beautiful. And I lost touch of your question. I got so into the energy of stepping into your sexual empowerment. Like, what was your question again?
The question was about your evolution. Like the first part of the question is like, how does the sexual energy connect with the root chakra, which I feel you addressed beautifully. And my second, and so it was a 2-part question. So it's all good. You got halfway there. You got the first part. Great. Awesome. But like the second part of the question was, what about your own personal growth? Which you touched up a little bit, right? When you were talking about your sexuality, your innocence being quote unquote stolen. So I would love for you to, illuminate the audience with your story of reclaiming that power for yourself and feeling safe in your body to be like, look at yourself, be like, damn, I tapped that in the mirror.
The claim of your beautiful inner power.
Yes.
I'd have to say, when I learned that energy and orgasmic energy and our own energy in human form is so much more than just sexuality, was that moment of orgasmic experience with self, orgasmic experience with the human touch and just being in perfect presence with all that was. Suddenly the pain melted away and it was just presence with the whole human creation of being in human form. In that moment, I'm like, I went through a time of what do you call that when you're not doing the deeds, you're not having that sexual intercourse at all. When I realized that your energy is so much more than just your sexual inheritance or your sexual energy. And when we tap into taking our power back, when we tap into taking our divinity back, we get to experience energy in a new form. freeing the chakras. I feel like I'm all over the place, but freeing the chakras and bringing our energy back into this beautiful symbiosis with our human form gives us this space of orgasmic energy, tapping into our primal energy and reconnecting it to our roots. Probably one of the most scariest parts of the healing process for me, because it was so insecure in that space. The root chakra was so fragmented, and the connection to Mother Earth was so fragmented. But knowing that we create safety in our body through our healing process, we get to connect to the vulnerability of Mother Earth. And coming from a space of such deep sexual trauma, trusting that primal power, trusting that spiritual inheritance, trusting that internal light and that internal power really helped heal that fracture in the root chakra, to bring the energy back into Mother Earth, to bring the energy back into sexual energy, empowerment, inheritance. Like, there's so many words that can be expressed in that, but when it comes back into the root form and we really step into our force of creation, we work through all those insecurities, we work through those fragmentations of scarcity and lack and so many family line traits that we had talked about in the epigenetics, and we finally get to rest in the space of our creation, which is orgasmic on its own, like 10 times removed from sexual experiences. It's orgasmic to feel safe in that root space and bring yourself back into a space of empowerment in the root chakra and through the chakra systems altogether. I don't know if that answered your question. I went off on a tangent, but definitely bringing it back into the root chakra.
I mean, it all comes down to the roots, right? I mean, when the seed cracks open, what happens first? What comes out first? Anybody? That's right. It's the roots. The roots come out first, right? So we got to pay attention to the roots. And how do we create safety for the sexual energy to bloom? Well, we take care of our physical needs. We make sure we're eating right regularly. We're being disciplined with that, right? Saying, oh, I'm not hungry, or I don't feel like it, is continuing to perpetuate the trauma loops, the starvation cycles, right? You have to actively work on creating that discipline and that safety within your body of, oh, I am going to be nourished at the same time. And that's how you break the epigenetic trauma of famine or not getting your primary needs of living food met. You make sure you're drinking enough water, hydrating. You breathe clean air. You get enough rest. You allow yourself to receive love. Like Dr. Serena was talking about the other day, science has now proven that love is a physiological need. It is vital to our growth. It exists all around us. Well, what does love want? Love wants to multiply. How does it multiply? With that sexual energy. And it doesn't necessarily mean making a baby, right? Sexual energy can be used for creation of projects. Like Lady Anika poured a lot of her sexual energy, her creative life source energy, into creating this container for all of us. I have also poured in some of my sexual energy by knowing how to just transfer that energy. And that's that practice of knowing how to cultivate your energy through the energy chakras, pulling that energy up from your roots, through your orange, through your willpower, through your soul, through the yellow, turning it into, now we're going to get clarity on the action, through the heart, refining it, making sure that we are not in the ego, bringing that energy up through the throat, activating to the voice, bringing that higher vision down, bringing the cosmic energies down. It's all happening simultaneously, and yet they each have a primary role, and they do affect each other. And when their energy centers are not clear, then you create an imbalance, and then you have issues, health issues, disease, sickness, chronic crap that comes up. And for I've talked about this before in various videos I've done on TikTok and talks I've done over the years of, I get asked this question of like, what about cancer? That's something that has been built up. My higher understanding of that is that that's something that's been built up in the energy body, and it's manifesting in the physical body as there is a poison here that needs to get out. Can we look at that poison of unprocessed trauma, of unresolved whatever ick might be there, of sexual energy that hasn't had an appropriate outlet, right? We're using the word appropriate here because it's not right or wrong. It's about the time and the place of it, so that we can really learn how to create our highest and best life with ease. Like Lady Anika was talking about earlier, like 5 hours a day of work is enough, right? If you know how to use all that energy, you can be more efficient with your personal power. So it's about, I feel like the mastery of the energy systems is really mastering efficiency with the same 24 hours that we all get. I'm also feeling like I'm going off on a tangent here, but you know, I feel like that's what the energy does. It's just like,
no, it was perfect. Bringing it back up through the body and into a force of creation, which is the other side of going through this healing process. We're bringing the energy and healing the roots, so we can bring the energy back up and truly create a quantum breakthrough, truly create change in our lives, truly learn how to use our primal energy, not just sexual energy, our primal energy, because it's far beyond sex. It's far beyond sexual. It's into our primal life force, creative energy, which we came here to create. We came here to be creators and leaders and change makers through healing the energy, the chakra system, and bringing it back down to the earth to grow a new freaking tree. It's very beautiful.
And just like trees need their pruning and they shed leaves and branches, you know, we also go through pruning. We also have to shed experiences and belief systems and ideologies and even labels that we may have attached ourselves to. I like to view labels as pinpoints, right? Little lamp posts, lamp signs. What the heck am I trying to say? Beacons. Good Lord. They're beacons that illuminate, like, oh, this is what needs attention now. Labels are also good for creating connection and solidarity. Like, oh, we are neurodivergents together, so we can resonate and we can empathize with each other on that frequency. But that doesn't make me lesser or greater. That doesn't make me sickly. It just means I'm different. Now, how can we celebrate and empower those differences?
Very beautiful. How can we celebrate and empower those differences? Really just kind of tuning back in. You said, how can we celebrate and empower those differences? What does celebrate mean to you, especially through healing, through their healing journey into quantum empowerment, quantum shifting? What does celebrating mean to you?
Thank you. Thank you for that question, because immediately the first thing that might come to mind when someone says celebrate is party, let's get loud and crazy. But for me, celebrating is sitting in stillness and appreciating. For me, celebrating is being able to slow down and witness. Like, wow, look at what my cells are doing right now. Wow, look at how the wind is moving right now. Wow, look at what is present in my life supporting me. Somebody asked me in the grocery store the other day, ma'am, have you been helped? And I looked at him and I said, in so many ways, all my life. And he just, like, his eyes got so big and he just didn't know how to respond. And he just, like, turned around and ran away. And I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? And it's like that for me is celebration. It's that deep presence of stillness to appreciate how much we are supported in our experience of being in this human experience.
The words from a woman who has truly brought her energy down into a force of creation, into the root chakra, and back up into her embodiment. To enjoy the fruits of life is that right there. It could not have been said better.
Oh, like, thank you, Lady. You encourage and empower me to keep going, especially on days I just don't wanna.
Just don't wanna my life sometimes. What about you, Dr. Pamela? What does celebrate mean to you? If you're able to.
You know, I love that Jasmine said being silent, because, like, when you grow up in chronic toxic stress and chaos and everything. Like one of my mantras is always like finding calm in the chaos. I choose peace, like just always going to that place. So for me, yeah, if I can sit out with my horses and actually take a deep breath and my chest isn't all locked up and I can breathe clearly and sit in silence with no mind chatter going on, like to me, that is a celebration in and of itself. And yes, like we are always like, oh, we think of celebrate, right? And it's no, like, can we celebrate that we're not all up here in drama all the time? Like, whew, I can breathe. Life is good.
And that's the other part, right? Like normalizing boredom. That's something that I've been working on, and not boredom. There might be this misperception of like boredom and complacency, and they're not the same, right? Like boredom is just like the everyday life. It's just the thing that just keeps us going, right? It's not crazy and dramatic all the time. You don't want to be operating on cortisol all the time. That shit's not good for your heart. And I remember, I took this like month-long dating course about a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't know. And she was like, when you meet somebody, do you follow the butterflies or do you run from the stillness? And that really helped to framework my mind of like, I was always chasing the high, chasing the butterfly, chasing the excitement, chasing the celebration, chasing, that dopamine fix of validation, because that had not been coming from within. So it's like, let us normalize having ease. Let us normalize feeling calm. Let us normalize taking things slow, because that is where that's where we hit that quote unquote neutral space of embodied connection and presence. And then we can really align with always being connected and in tune from life. But if we're constantly intense, of course, we're going to want to, the body's going to want to disassociate from that, because the nervous system is overstimulated. It needs to rest. And that's, I feel, where disassociation happens. It's like the nervous system just can't take anymore. It's checking out. Like there's a literal built-in receptors in the body to disconnect from too much. It's the way the body protects its own nervous system. That's what creates blackouts. That's what creates disassociation. That's what creates memory loss. So until we learn how to regulate our nervous system, regulate ourselves, and appreciate the magic of the mundane, as a friend calls it, then we really start to stabilize and amplify, and we can live in that heightened space of ecstatic eros while seated in the seat of stillness.
Beautiful.
I never get bored. I don't understand people that get bored. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, I always have stuff to do and I want to do, and I never have enough time to get it all done, because there are times where I do need to go numb out, because my nervous system needs a break, right? Like, that's what my therapist always says. Like, she does not encourage the whole pharmaceuticals, whether that be for depression or anxiety, because then you're numbed out 24/7 and you never get a chance to heal your brain. And so it's okay to set aside that time every day to numb out a little bit, right? To let your nervous system rest, but just so that we're not in that space 24/7. And so for me, like when I finally get that downtime to numb out, that is not boring to me. It's like, oh, I can sit, I can breathe, and I can recharge so that I can do all my other stuff. Yes, it's just interesting to me, people who get bored with things, and I think it's because they're always numbed out.
Yes.
Or they're always needing to be stimulated. It's those extremes. They're not creating that balance in their life.
Yes, absolutely. Boredom is just not a word that exists for me. And I use that word very loosely because that fear of boredom can sometimes create that disassociation as well. Like, I don't want to be bored if I'm just sitting there. Meditation is boring. It's like, because you're not meditating right. You're disassociated from what meditation really means.
I think boring can also be an excuse for bypassing those deeper truths or those deeper meditations or those deeper feelings that we were trying to avoid with numbing out and with the high languages.
People aren't comfortable sitting alone with themselves in silence.
Well, and that's part of the new drug is the high go cortisol, or like it's a drug. It becomes addicting, just like the chaos in our nervous system. It becomes the addiction that we get used to, and we are naturally running from our lives because it's overstimulating.
Yep.
Most definitely. So, Lady Dresman, is it time to wrap it up for our break? Do we have anything else to share or questions to ask?
No. I'm just like, this just has been such a big talk, and I feel like, are there any final words that you, Lady Anika, would like to share with someone who is new, right? Like the things that we have been talking about. Of course, we three are like, yeah, of course we know what the heck we're talking about. We've been doing this for a hot minute, right? But we're not like somebody who's just like, whoa. This might feel a little woo-woo. Yes, there's signs that you presented. I need to fact check. Please definitely fact check us, right? Like, we're here to grow as well, and we're human, so we may misspeak, and then we might be like, oh yeah, thank you for that awareness or that gentle correction. But anyway, what would you say to someone who's like new and who's starting to like feel into the possibility of, okay, there is power in that unseen. Maybe I need to open my mind a little more.
I would say trust your calling. There's a reason that you have that question in your soul. There's a reason that you have that question in your spirit. There's a reason that you've been led here or led to wherever you are. We bring ourselves to this space because our soul is waking us up to something bigger and something more. Trust that. Trust the soul. And what that feels like is that space of inner knowing, or that moment of the aha moment, or that space of rest. Do you feel safe? Do you feel okay in the presence of a higher calling?
Yeah. Thank you, Lady Anika. And with that, I'm going to invite everyone to bring back to mind, on day one, we opened the ceremony and asked, what is your intention? And now we're inviting you to really breathe life into that intention, right? Breathe life through the energy chakras. I don't know if Lady Anika can bring back to the screen real quick the picture of the energy chakras that she shared in her beautiful presentation. But can you breathe life from the roots up to your crown and notice how that intention activates each part of the energy body, like in the root? Okay, what was your intention? What was your intention, Lady Anika? What was my intention? One of my intentions was to witness and hold a sacred container. Okay, so, how is this rooting in my root chakra now? Okay, it's by being present, by paying attention to the speakers, by listening to you, by being here to answer your questions. Okay, so feel into what intention as we go into this break and as we go into the rest of the day. Start feeling and breathing life into your attention and see how it activates through each chakra. Notice any blockages, right? Because that's where some work might be needed. And let's start making that intention a lot more tangible in the present reality. I think it was image 15. No. Where the chakras were all swirly. Oh, 13. No. Dang
it. Let's try this one.
13. Maybe.
Of course, number 13.
Yes. Of course. Of course it's 13.
We'll pull it back up. calling things into alignment of our source of creation is the energy within us and how we learn to cultivate it. Really bringing in your empowerment, your energy, your alignment. It's not about anything or anybody outside yourself. We create the safety within ourselves, and it taps into your own primal energy,
Right.
your own
Here we
source
go.
of creation.
Right. Like here we go. Root chakra, basic trust. Okay. Can you trust that your intention is already created, that it's already activated, that it's already thriving? Okay. Sacral chakra, sexuality, creativity. Now that you trust that it's already created, what are your steps towards that? Well, you already have them because you've already created it. Right? And then we go into the wisdom and power. Oh, okay. Now we really feel into how you bring that dream into life and where you might need to ask help, right? And then we go into the heart. Okay, we need to ask help. Maybe that brings up some feelings, some emotions. Let's process that. Oh crap, this intention that I have has already been anchored. You mean I'm already like a 3 times published author on the list to win a Pulitzer? Holy bananas, that's insane. Let's work on those, emotions of worth, of value. Okay, and then communicate. Okay, this is what I would like to create. This is where I need help. These are my strengths. These are my challenges, activating the voice. And then we bring that awareness up into our third eye. Now that we have created this in the energy sphere, and we're starting to make action every day forward into coalescing that in the physical reality, how do we continue to support that? And then we go into the crown of what is the God power within that? What is divine within that? How do we now see the greater purpose for what our own intention might have been, right? And then, of course, if you want to go deeper, then you have the other 7 chakra bodies right there, from the causal, celestial, etheric, astral, mental, and emotional, and etheric bodies, which I hint, Lady Anika might be going into in our 22 days with the VIPs. But we're focusing on the other 7 chakras today, and really start, taking notes for yourself. There's a lot that's been coming through, so I hope you've got a journal out. I know I've been taking notes. I've filled 3 pages just listening to the speakers. So, beautiful intentions. Let's take some 3 breaths. Bring it back into the seat of neutral. The seat of neutral rests between the heart chakra and the throat in the higher heart. It is a pink wheel of current. Thank you. So I feel that after all that intensity, quick little break. We're going to take a little bit of a longer break today because there was a lot that was activated in the energy field. I need to go outside and ground my feet in the earth. So we'll meet back here about 12:45. And we'll open with another little dance break, and we're going to work more of that energy, more of those emotions, our body. We're going to activate more of our power. And then we have some surprises to share with you before we introduce our second speaker for today, Miss Jen Lin.
Super exciting. It's going to be powerful. I'm super excited to share and to get to these beautiful gifts. Oh boy. So exciting. We will see you guys very, very soon.
Stay tuned.